Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'd like to open the meeting. Can I please have a roll call?
Mr. Accomando?
Present.
Mrs. Borelli? Mr. Cipollone? Mrs. Mahoney? Mrs. Robinson?
Here.
Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Mr. White? Mr. Winnie?
Present.
Mrs. Zottarelli?
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. At this time, please be advised that all cell phones and electronic devices are to be turned off. The student representatives were here earlier because they thought it was at 7, so we told them they didn't have to stay, so we don't have a report from them. But do you have anything from them, or?
I have their report.
Oh, she has their report, so Ms. Shanley will give us the student representative report.
Okay. Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so at the middle school, had its first session of Wellness Wednesdays on November 7th. Wellness Wednesdays are led by Miss Fabricini, and it was very successful. 36 students attended. They used coloring pages and puzzles to practice relaxation techniques. Middle school, React collected 9 cases of candy for our troops. At the high school, student council and class officer speeches were given at class meetings on Wednesday, October 24th, followed by elections on the 25th. The Saddlebrook Township lended assistance by bringing staff members and voting booths to give students an authentic voting experience. In total, 465 students cast votes in the high school media center during their physical education periods. In addition to their traditional responsibilities, all elected officers will take part in Mr. Searle's vice principal cabinet, through which students will have a direct pipeline to work with administration on improving the student experience at the high school. Student Council is running a food drive through November 20th to collect donations for the Saddlebrook Food Pantry. Very successful STEMCon was held at the high school today. I'd like to thank Mr. Haas and Ms. Resnick. I know Ms. Resnick is here. Is Mr. Haas here? Would you like to talk about the STEMCon? Yeah. Come on up. There's no mic?
Matt had it earlier. I can boom.
You could boom?
Yeah.
Okay, give it a try. Okay.
All right. Well, STEMCon was incredibly successful this year. We had a large number of students coming in doing hands-on activities. All right. Is this better? Mm-hmm. Okay. We had a ton of students in from periods 2 through 7. Their science teachers brought them down, financial literacy teachers brought them down, and the students were fully engaged in hands-on activities throughout the entire period that they were in the room. It was really a fantastic thing to witness, was all these students working together, working on STEM projects, whether it was from throwing fastballs to coding their own video games, to designing a robotics maze, to dissecting a flower. We really did try to hit every single element of STEM with our students. It was really awesome to see.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Resnick also...
And we thank the Saddlebrook Ed Foundation so much for all of their support.
That's great. Thank you for remembering that. So, and Ms. Resnick gave me the information for the website. So
Yes.
for those of you who are interested.
So if you're interested in the STEMCon virtual experience, I do have some extra business cards out here. It's really just www.stemcon.info. So if you want to find out any more information, we're going to be posting pictures, videos. We already have some of the worksheets live. So if you want to go home with your kids and you want to do STEM activities, it's all there.
Okay, and I don't want to forget to thank Mr. Shallcross and his support.
Yes, Mr. Shallcross actually came up with the design for STEMCon, and he also developed the website for us.
Super.
Yeah. Okay. We all worked really well together. It was really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the athletic department would like to recognize the volleyball team along with our competition cheer team with their coaches and friends who participated in the Out of the Darkness Suicide Prevention Walk held at the Saddle River Country Park. And a special thanks to the wrestling team for representing Saddlebrook High School in the VFW's Veterans Day ceremony. The football team finished the year with the 4-5 record. First team all-league players are, I hope I can do this justice, Jacob Dimitruk, Mike Redzo, Kevin Daly. Second team players, Zach Estengo, Jack Sedicase, Jason Moyo, Dante Guzman, Nick Januario, John Hacker, Nick Ciolino are our honorable mention selections. Girls tennis finished the year with 4 wins, which topped their win total from the last 9 years. The Falcons were led by honorable mention selection Gianna D'Alessandro. Our boys soccer team finished 6-11-3, with Jacob Gisnowski being selected as the first team player, David Gara being voted in as a second team player, and Tyler Sisti as our honorable mention. Cross-country boys had Christian Mendez as our honorable mention runner, and our girls team finished second in the league, who was led by first team all-league runner Devin Davila. Second team runners, Samantha Solar, Carolyn Caprillion, Rashfir Kaur is honorable mention. Volleyball capped off an exciting season, finishing 16-9, led by the first team all-league player Martha Galas and Alexandra Gidsnizhenko. Okay, so lastly, huge congratulations to our girls soccer team who are going to be recognized here at the work session on December 10th, which is a Monday night. They and their coaches will be recognized here that evening. The girls finished the year 17-3, earning the NJIC Meadowlands Divisional title, the first since 2010. The girls were also crowned with the NJIC Girls Tournament Soccer Champions and finished in the Final Four of the North 1 Group 1 section, which is the deepest in the state tournament any Saddlebrook girls soccer team has ever advanced. The first-year head coach, Deandra Donato, was selected by her peers in NJIC Meadowlands Girls Soccer Coach of the Year. Her professionalism and dedication to our students is energizing, and her representation of our school is one of the highest quality. First-team all-league players are... I'm actually going to save them for the 10th, and we'll recognize them each individually when they're here. So we want to special thanks to our coaches, our student athletes, their families, and everybody who came out to cheer for the kids, because it made for a great season. Okay, at Franklin, we started our Yoga for Classrooms initiative, which has been going on since training in September. We've been building our repertoire of breathing and stretching methods each day as a way to self-regulate. Our students use their recess time to write positive graffiti and colored chalk at each of our school's entrances and dismissal doors for School Violence Prevention Week. So please take a moment to view the photos. They're shared on the Franklin School website. At Long School, they also launched their Yoga for Classrooms during Red Ribbon Week as an example of healthy living choices. Mr. Munoz kicked off this program with a school-wide assembly. As part of our character education activities during the month of October, the Long Memorial School student body created a school-wide lip sync video that will be released for American Education Week, which is this week. Stay tuned for the official launch. The LMS school sign has been installed, and we're just awaiting final touches. That should be up and running. Special thanks to the Long Memorial School PTO for their generous donation to the school. And at Smith, the votes are in. On Election Day, Smith School students took to the polls in the library. Grades K through 3 voted on their favorite character, and Pete the Cat defeated Cat in the Hat, 91-53. Grades 4 through 6 took to the polls via Google Forms to pick their favorite menu item. 58.1 chose Taco Tuesday, over 41.9 for cheeseburgers. We've just added a sensory walk in one of our hallways, and Mrs. Palmieri and Mrs. Nappy's classes began checking it out last week, and that was because of the support from the foundation. We completed our October readathon. Everyone participated, and class totals are being tabulated as we speak. And that was the end of the student report.
Okay. Thank you, and now it's the superintendent's report, so now you have to do yours.
I thanked the community on Monday, but I would like to thank the members of the community again for supporting our ballot question for increased security in the schools, and I would like to congratulate Mr. Quinn for his reelection, Mrs. Mariana Ianello and Michelle Roloff for their seats on the Board of Education. And I also wanted to especially thank Mr. Winnie and Mr. Cipollone for their service. Your check is waiting for you when you're done. Okay, so I'm assuming that everybody in here today received a text message from School Messenger, and you were supposed to reply with a Y, and then hopefully a follow-up test text. You see, we're getting ready for bad weather. We won't have any tomorrow. Bad weather, that is. We will have school. But we just want to make sure that everybody is set up and ready to go and that we don't have to worry about anyone not receiving weather emergency messages. And I can't thank Mike Mayer enough, extraordinaire, in the back for helping us to do that. As I said, on December 10th, we'll be honoring the soccer team and their coaches. And on December 12th, we will have a special holiday presentation by the Choraleers. So if you would like to witness their little mini dress rehearsal for the show, which will be on the 13th. On December 12th, the board will also be following up on the case for servant leadership, and we'll be reviewing the first 3 principles, which are self-reflection, listening, and inverting the pyramid. So that's what we'll be working on the 12th, and I believe that is the end of my report.
Thank you. Now, the business administrator report, Ray?
Thank you. I gave my report on Monday for all the items on the agenda, but one item to add into the minutes is the results of the election. They're still really unofficial until I get the final results from the county election office, but these are the votes with the mail-in ballots in the totals. The board candidates, Stephen Quinn, 1,486. Mariana Ianello, 1,436. Haley Traverso, 947. Christopher Winnie, 850. Michelle Roloff, 1,519. And the question for Saddlebrook, yes votes, 1,685, and the no votes, 1,386. There were 5,470 votes cast of 9,690 registered voters, which was 56%. Just one thing on the question, the $450,000 for security items will be for security vestibules at all schools except Smith, because they already have a security vestibule. That work will be probably bid out in the winter to early spring. Contracts awarded and the work will be done in the summer. All other items need to be done during the 18-19 school year, which are the walkie radios that can be repeaters that repeat throughout the district. We're going to do some more door access controls, and one of the bigger things besides the security vestibules is an alert system where the message for the lockdown and the calls to the police department are all done automatically with strobes on the outside of the building. Like, it's all done automatically, so we're not wasting time having personnel making the calls and getting to a phone to do it. So it's going to be all great security items, and looking forward to doing that. So I thank the voters.
Thank you. Okay, on the agenda, we already had our presentation on policy, so I would like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items and policies. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the meeting is open to the public. Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. Does anyone from the audience wish to be heard on agenda items? Okay, I have to finish reading my statement, Bill. No, you can get up. It's okay, Donna, I'm going to read it. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Okay, so your name and address and subject matter, okay?
Donna Ferraro, 34 Roosevelt Street in Nutley. My daytime address is 30 Cambridge Avenue. I have a question on the policy for 2530, resource materials. Number 7 says that teachers shall use only board-approved textbooks, resources, and materials, and are not allowed to supplement without expressed written consent of the superintendent. My question is there a list of board-approved textbooks, resources, and materials that the teaching staff can look at? And how many years is this list going to go back from the board-approved textbooks, resources, and materials?
So what used to take place a long time ago is schools would have just a list. These are the books. These are the workbooks. So what we do now, which is easier and more manageable, is to build the textbooks and resources that are approved into the curriculum document. So the teachers create the curriculum document. In some cases, let's say, for example, we're using TC Reader's Workshop. And within the units of study, there are books that come with the units of study or are recommended within the units of study. And then that unit of study, that program is approved by the board. And then the units of study and all of the books listed within the units of study are approved when the curriculum is approved. And should the curriculum change, then the resources change. The old way of listing, these books were way, way before we had students plowing through 30, 40, 50 independent reads in a year, so it made it very difficult to manage. So if you approve your textbooks and your resources within your curriculum, then as your curriculum changes and your resources change, the board approves them.
Okay, so my question is, as a special educator, we grab resources from many different areas in order to help all the children learn where they normally would have a difficult time keeping up with the curriculum or the mainstream curriculum.
Right.
So if I use Explode the Code, if that's not approved or in the curriculum, I have to express and...
Is that an instructional program?
Yes.
Okay, so then you would want to have the program approved. So as a resource teacher, and within the curriculum, because one of the things CUSAC wants us to do is to say how we are meeting the needs of students with disabilities, how we are meeting the needs of English language learners. And we could easily say that a supplemental resource within this curriculum would be an example of the program that you just mentioned, which helps support the needs of students with disabilities. And it's used primarily in the resource classroom or in push-in, in small group, things like that.
Okay, so then...
What we're trying to prevent is, we're trying to prevent books being read aloud by all students, for example, that might be being taught in another grade level and we're not even aware of it, or that are not board approved or are not part of a curriculum, or are just something we found online that we thought was cool and I want to use it, but it may not necessarily be appropriate. Or so we're trying to just say, this is the curriculum, the teachers develop the curriculum, they make recommendations for what they want to have in the third grade scope and sequence, and then the board approves it, and then within that you can make choices. So we may say, these 4 read-alouds are great for Unit 1. The teacher can choose which one he or she wants to use, so we can build choice in as well.
Okay, so would that be a problem then for children that are in 3rd grade and might be on a 1st grade level?
Well, no, because our reading program allows students to work at their independent level. So I'm not talking about classroom libraries, really talking about core texts that we use to teach.
Okay, all right. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up because it was very...
I'll give you an example. So you may have a 3rd grade teacher who thinks Wonder is a fabulous book, and wants to use it for character ed development and reads a little bit every day after lunch. And I think read alouds are an incredible and valuable piece of instruction.
Yes, they are.
Okay, but it's a fourth grade core text for character ed, and she didn't know it. Now all the kids get up to fourth grade and they go, oh, Miss Smith read this to us last year. So we need to be sure that the left hand knows what the right hand's doing and that the board approves all the materials.
Okay. So when will this list be available to us?
It's not a list. Anything that's in the approved curriculum, you can use. If we need, and we're all in the process of taking a close look at our scope and sequence and at our curriculum, and we tremendously value your contribution in that conversation, and that's why teachers develop curriculum.
Okay.
So, if the second grade team is working on a curriculum, then they should have that conversation, and then they say to the first grade team, to the third grade team, make sure that what we're doing is grade and age appropriate, Lexile, et cetera.
Okay. So currently, right now, I do use some Explode the Code with some of
Okay.
the children. So do I need to then write to get your written permission to use it in the classroom at this point? or-
What you need to do is talk to your principal and/or Dr. Reisenauer
Okay.
and talk about how we will talk internally about how we're going to build
Okay.
and revise and revisit the curriculum collaboratively.
Okay.
So I'm not telling you you can't go use Explode the Code because your students need it. I'm really trying to make sure that what we're doing across the board. For example, I had a teacher ask me about Harry Potter. And I said, well, is it in the curriculum? So I'm really not sure. So we went, and ironically, all of the Harry Potter books and some other books in that genre were in the TC unit of study. So it was perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clearing that up.
Okay, anyone else from the public wish to be heard on agenda or policy?
Good evening. Darla Matsakis, 215 Terrace Lake Drive, Butler, 355 Mayhill Street, from 8 to 3:30. I actually have a question about the proposed dress code for staff. When I'm looking through here, there are a few things that are questionable, not questionable, but that I have questions on. They're not clear. For instance, I'm just trying to find where it was. No T-shirts or collarless shirts are allowed. Is that including on dress-down days?
That was the same language that was in there before, no T-shirts or collarless shirts allowed. What do you want, what are you thinking you want to wear on a dress-down day?
Well, first off, as a woman, I'm wearing a collarless shirt right now, in my opinion. There's no collar here.
Is it a T-shirt?
No, it's a turtleneck.
Okay. Then
Okay.
that's fine.
But it says no collarless shirts are allowed. So, like, a lot of women's shirts, blouses, don't have a collar on them. So that just, the clarification there.
So so a collarless, for example, sweater. Well, the reason why we have two readings on a policy is so that we can get feedback.
Okay.
So if that's something that requires clarification, we could do that. Mrs. Zottarelli, do you have any? Okay. I think the intention was to avoid T-shirts.
On a non-dress-down day?
No.
Or period?
T-shirts at all. T-shirts. Like a white cotton Fruit of the Loom T-shirt.
Okay, because I'm thinking of a Saddlebrook football team T-shirt.
Well, that's spirit wear.
Okay. That clarifies another question. Because my next question was no clothing with printed images or messages.
Not
So-
spirit wear. Spirit wear would be appropriate.
Okay, so if in October we have a pink day, if I'm wearing a breast cancer awareness logo or something like that, is that permissible?
Through the chair?
I mean, because it says printed images, so if I, have, the breast cancer thing, that's an image on my shirt, and in all seriousness, I don't want someone to say, you can't wear that, it has an image on it, it has to be solid or school spirit only. So that's why I just want to clarify
You
that.
want to clarify?
Are your dress down
Well, usually for the Union Dress Down Day, it is prior of, it's the last Friday of the month. In October, we do Susan G. Komen. So
then.
It's just kind of
you're saying by
understood
saying on the
that-
last Friday of the month in October, when you're celebrating or raising money for breast cancer
Correct.
awareness, I would certainly think that would be appropriate.
Okay. Well, because, and that was the other thing, is like, it's saying no T-shirts, but it's not clarified as to, with the exception being on a Spirit Day or a dress down.
So T-shirts related to the cause?
Or sweatshirts or hoodies. Sweatshirt or hoodie. I mean, because I'll be
wear?
honest with you, a lot of us do not live in Saddlebrook. I have no reason whatsoever to purchase a Saddlebrook attire wear except to support my kids.
Right.
If I can't wear a Saddlebrook t-shirt to school, I'm not paying for it. Because it's not something that I would wear. I would wear DePaul, Butler, West Liberty University, any of those, because that supports my own kids.
So you're asking if spirit wear is appropriate. So if it falls under the guise of Saddlebrook spirit wear, it has a complete and full pass.
Okay, well, just
So
because it's
spirit
saying
wear-
hoodies,
Right,
sweatshirts,
but
so
if it's
just clarify.
spirit wear, so then we could say T-shirts except for spirit wear, hoodies except for spirit wear. It says spirit wear is allowed.
Okay,
So if you're wearing Saddlebrook colors and Saddlebrook spirit wear
okay,
on a dress down day, then that's more than appropriate.
okay. But there are some times that I wouldn't have a volunteer firefighter shirt, and I just want to wear, maybe my son's team is going somewhere on a dress down day. For instance, my son goes to DePaul, the girls' soccer team, they're playing in the States. Maybe I would have liked to have worn a DePaul shirt on that day. Is that not permissible?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking, because on a
Yeah.
dress-down day, I'm thinking a dress-down day, as long as I'm not wearing my church jeans with holes in them, or, as I always say, the kids, you're wearing your church jeans because they're
They're
holy. But as long as I'm not wearing holy jeans or sweatpants or leggings, which I wouldn't wear any of those.
Thank you.
That I could wear whatever t-shirt or whatever hoodie I choose to wear on a dress-down day.
No.
That I am paying for.
That's not the way, I don't believe that's the way it was written before. Spirit wear was acceptable on a dress down day. So if you're wearing a hoodie or a t-shirt or a collared golf shirt or whatever it is, and it's spirit wear for Saddlebrook, then that would be appropriate. Other than that, it's a denim day where you're swapping out denim for the rest of whatever the outfit used to be.
Okay, so then the question about, I want to support my son's team, they're in the States, or they're doing whatever, I'm not allowed to wear his school wear here to this school. Because or on, when I want to support my daughter who's at college, maybe she's home for the weekend, brought me a new shirt. Or I went to the Harry Potter conference and I want to wear my Harry Potter t-shirt that I got at the conference. So none of that is appropriate because it's not spirit wear on a dress down day. That's what I'm asking.
Unless you were doing a dress, unless there was an approved Harry Potter day, then you can wear it.
Or a college t-shirt day, to raise money for scholarships, or, if
Okay.
that were the theme of your dress down day for whatever your cause, be it Susan B. Komen, be it college t-shirts for a scholarship award or something, then that
Okay.
would fit the day.
So I just want to clarify then. So the sweater that I wore to school today would not be approved.
What's the matter with your sweater?
Says DePaul Catholic on it.
Yeah, but before you were saying a hoodie or
Well,
a
I'm just
t-shirt.
saying,
What you're
because it
wearing now is
says,
a-
no clothing with printed images or messages. This is advertising for DePaul Catholic, in all honesty.
But what you are wearing is a cardigan sweater, which is appropriate to wear to work. What we're trying to prevent is from people wearing, concert tees and things that have big, I don't care if your shirt has a Nike swish on it, or, I'm not endorsing Nike, but I'm saying you should be dressed for work, it should be academic, it should be professional, and it should be appropriate. If you're raising money for a fundraiser and you want to support the fundraiser, in my mind, then supporting the fundraiser makes sense. But when you come to work, you dress for work. That's not new. That was in the policy before. The the questions I had received about the policy was that there were so many conflicts within the policy that it needed to be cleaned up. This section said this, but then this section said this, so does this discount this? So we want to make it clean. You're bringing to our attention things that need clarification. We're happy to clarify.
I believe that was all that I had. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak about the agenda items only?
Good evening, Board of Ed. Ryan Roy, Autism Advocate, 167 Northwest Wing Ave, Southbrook, New Jersey, 07663. I want to ask you a question, Mr. Karate, about actually last week, about the poll question about the security stuff. I mean, how's it, I know many voters actually, resulted in more of a landslide. What does it mean, I mean, is all the schools going to be implemented with security and all that? I'm just wondering.
All the schools will receive the same items except for Smith School with the security vestibule. They already have one.
Okay.
So that's why the other 4 schools were listed in the question, but everything else will be school, district-wide, all buildings.
So the result of it is, is a yes, and instead of a no, because I know most of them voted yes for it. I just want to make sure and clarify.
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least I know and figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Dawn Donofrio, 122 Claremont Avenue, Saddlebrook. I am a teacher and a resident of Saddlebrook. In regard to the policy on dress, faculty dress, item 8 says we cannot wear sleeveless shirts. So I happen to wear, when the room is very hot, a sleeveless dress shirt, which means it's not a tank top. So is that appropriate? Because sleeveless shirts, I think we need a clarification on that. So if a room
I
is...
think it was there before. I don't think I...
I don't know why this is a bit, we shouldn't change any of this. This is what it has been.
There were a couple things that were changed.
I have worn sleeveless Calvin Klein shirts. In fact, you and I have the same shirt I
Me
wore
too. I think I
to
had a
school.
jacket on them.
It is very professional. It is very appropriate. So now I can't wear that shirt to school in May and June when it's hot in the classroom.
Do you not have air conditioning in your classroom?
I do. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. So that's a question. I mean, there are very appropriate sleeveless ladies' shirts that are designer, that are very professional. So from now on, we're not allowed to wear those. No. Okay. Another question in regard to our dress down. Are we allowed to wear our Saddlebrook Education Associations? They are Saddlebrook, so they're fine,
Yes.
right? Okay. Thank you.
That's spirited.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the public wish to be heard? I think we're good. Okay, can I have a
Can I just ask a
Yes, sure.
Did any of the men notice the change in the policy regarding the ties?
I can't hear you. It's on, it's on, it's on.
Did any of the men notice the change in the policy regarding the ties? Okay. No one mentioned that. I know. He's coming to say thank you. He's coming to say thank you.
Okay, so Danji and Freddie, 44 Bamford Ave, Hawthorne, New Jersey, and 8 to 3 or 8 to 3:30. Really, when basketball starts, 8 to 10 is 355 Mayhill Street. So yeah, we did notice and appreciate the gesture with shortening it for about 2 weeks on average.
Could be as long as a month.
It could be. So I've been working in the district for 12 years, and May typically starts or ends, spring break. So right around within like a week or two, it's really not that big of a difference. Now, again, I appreciate it. It's definitely, listen, again, I don't mind wearing a shirt and tie, and I like wearing a shirt and tie because I actually like looking good. And not for nothing. A lot of you guys know that. But so ultimately, that's something that I would do on my own, and it really is more of a concern of just the heat issue, again, in the building. But sometimes when it's very hot in the building because of the heat, and it's not necessarily appropriate to open the windows, I have to look a little bit more unprofessional because I have that tie on, and I have to loosen it, and I have to roll up the sleeves, and I have to be comfortable. Otherwise, me being an Italian, I'm going to have sweat stains from my pit to my wrists. So ultimately, yes, I understand the sentiment behind it, and I do appreciate the gesture with shortening the period of having to wear the ties. But ultimately, no offense, but I feel like it's a little bit of a transparent move for a lot of the other moves that were in there. Because, again, it's a lot of helping men, which I appreciate, but the women they're getting kind of ousted with a lot of this. So I do apologize to you ladies for that. Men, thank you very much for
I'm trying to figure out
sticking.
what part of the dress code for women so dramatically changed from before.
Well, the sleeveless is a big one. And I can't necessarily speak to that because I don't, never mind, I was going to make a joke, but I don't want to make a joke that's inappropriate. But
Wear a sleeveless shirt because it was warm and comfortable.
if it was an appropriate sleeveless shirt for a girl, if it was a dress blouse, yeah, I would have no problem with it, and I would see it to be appropriate. Now, again, that wouldn't fall under uniform policy because it wouldn't be student wear and collared shirts. However, women, again, when they're dressing professionally, they have a little bit of a different standard. Our students don't wear dresses to school. Our teachers do, but our teachers do wear dresses to school. Some of those dresses, as I've seen in my 12 years, are sleeveless dresses, which look very appropriate, do not look in any way scandalous or anything in any way revealing, and it's just part of their wardrobe. And part of that, and if it's going to change these things, and if it's going to change the process of what they're going to have to wear, we don't get paid that much, and this is going to have to revamp a lot of our wardrobe. Now, again, not necessarily for me, because I wear sleeved shirts every single day. I just don't have license for these guns. But ultimately, I want to make sure that it's an equal policy for everybody, and I feel like the women are getting kind of slammed with it, where the men, which, again, we appreciate the fact that it's about 2 weeks shorter, but ultimately, it's really not that big of a change. And that's what I would say.
We will take it under advisement, and we can revisit.
Absolutely.
We will revisit all of the comments that are brought before us tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me be heard.
Okay, anyone else? Oh, we got more.
Hello. Teresa Martin, 491 Cherry Street, Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, and
Everywhere else in
elementary schools during the day. Let's just leave it at that. Just a question about item 7. No flip-flop sandals, bare feet, sneakers. Get it. Rain, snow, winter, or weather-related boots. Work boots, duck boots, cleated footwear is permitted. In the winter, especially myself, because I'm going from school to school, I wear weather-appropriate boots. I don't wear work boots. I don't wear fireman boots, but I wear weather-appropriate boots. I also tend to be a bit klutzy and have had 4 knee operations, so I'm extremely careful about what I wear because the floors are wet, there's ice, there's snow, and like I said, I'm going to different schools. So I personally make sure that I have a good pair of winter footwear for my safety and just so that I, can move around freely.
So you make a valid point. Number 13 says, any teaching staff member may request a waiver of this dress code for the performance of particular duties and/or due to the nature of his or her assignment. Such requests, which used to have to go in writing to me, I'm not really interested in fielding all of those, may be granted by the building principal or in your case, we could have a conversation among principals. And of course, anybody who had knee surgery, hip surgery, foot surgery needs to wear a sneaker or a special shoe or a special boot. Obviously, we would take all of that into consideration. Not everybody travels, not everybody's itinerant like you are. Some people come in, they could throw their Uggs like I do under the desk, put a pair of shoes on, and I don't have to worry until I leave at the end of the evening to change back into my boots. You are an unusual circumstance. That's why we have number 13, and that has been there in the past. So depending upon your assignment, if you are a science teacher and you're in a chemistry lab and you want to wear a protective shoe, or you want, obviously that makes perfect sense, and we want it to make sense, so.
Okay. All right, so that would be the building principal's decision, as far as making a decision on footwear.
Yeah, but not everybody has 4 building principals like you do, so.
Right. I'll choose the nicest one.
There you go.
Okay, anyone else? All right. Good, okay, I have a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. All right, I'm on the wrong page, hold on. All right, where am I? This one? Okay. You want to read it?
I just want to state, before we take action on the board action items, for B9, we usually list if it's HIB or non-HIB, so for the board members, the first case will be non-HIB, the second one is a HIB, the third one is a HIB, and the fourth one is a non-HIB.
Okay. Okay, so the board action items, B8 and B9. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, any discussion? Okay, roll call. Which one? Is there another one? Hold on. No, we're good? Okay.
I go on top. Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney? Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay, education curriculum, Mr. Quinn?
Yes, at the recommendation of the superintendent, I would like to make a motion to approve the following items: E14, 1 through 11, and E15.
Okay.
Before you
You want to say it? You want me to say it? Okay. We're also adding an E16 to approve the spring musical, which we're not going to tell you what it is yet, for March 8th through the 10th, right? That's going to be E16 added on to the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay, can I have a second? Any discussion on those items? Okay, roll call?
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli? Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Finance, budget, facilities?
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items, F38 through F53.
Second.
Okay, do I have any discussion? Okay, the boards people have to abstain from their check numbers, do they know that? Okay, just a reminder of abstaining from your check numbers if you have a check from Ray. Okay, roll call?
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Abstain from check numbers 5461 and 54684. Yes to all others.
Mr. Winnie?
Abstain from check number 54636, and yes to all others.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Abstaining from check number 54635, yes to all other.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay. Next is policy.
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following items. First reading on policy 2361 through 5850, and we will revisit the dress grooming one, I promise you.
Okay. All right. Second? Any discussion? Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. And the next one.
Okay. I'd like to have, at the recommendation of the superintendent, I'd like to have a motion to have the policies for a second reading, P8561 and P8600.
Okay, you have a second? Okay.
Discussion.
Any discussion? No? Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Otterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay. We're just going to move on? Okay. So,
Editing, a little bit of editing that needs to take place.
okay, which one?
So this one needs to say as needed.
Okay. 1 second, okay?
The second item is supposed to say, as needed, effective October 11th.
Which one is that?
Ranim?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yep. And then the remaining appointments underneath that person should all say effective November 13th.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So I will make the recommendation of the superintendent. I make a motion to approve items P104, 105, 106, 107, 108, all the way through 113. Can I have a second?
There's still no changes.
Okay, including the changes which Ms. Shanley just said about those items with the date changes and as needed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and under discussion, I just want to thank Ms. Linder and Ms. Sherry Klein-Hans for all their service and dedication to the children of the community of Saddlebrook. We really appreciate all that you've done for us. Thank you. You will be missed. Okay, any other discussion?
Yes, through the chair. I'm just trying to get this straight. So,
through it again.
under
Go ahead.
P108, okay, the first person and the second person,
The first person is as is, September 7th. The second person should be October 11th, as needed. And the remaining should say November 13th.
okay, so as needed,
As needed.
is that going to change her, what I'm under the assumption, if she goes over a certain amount of hours, is that going to change anything?
We can't discuss her schedule in public.
Okay, well, I understand that. So if I'm in question, then I'm just not going to be able to approve.
Well, we discussed it on Monday. so
Yes, we did, and I had questions there, but how am I supposed to? You don't have numbers down here, which I'm noticing, to omit certain people and to keep it. And since I can't discuss their hours, I don't feel that this is being very transparent on the change of,
Well, we added the as needed after our discussion,
okay,
so that we could
it's...
Be flexible.
be flexible.
And this person, because of the fact that they're needed for a specific student? Am I allowed to ask that question? Okay. So, did anybody else get the opportunity to have this same offer to them? Am I not allowed to discuss it?
They will, because these are not, these are aftercare positions.
That's why
So
you're adding the as.
That's why I'm adding the as needed, because anybody could serve in that capacity who's appropriately, who can handle that assignment.
And you need certain qualifications to be a before and after care assistant?
No, to service a particular student with particular needs. You may need some specialized training.
Okay, so what you're saying is that this person has specialized training that others don't?
Not that all others don't. There may be others who do, but at this particular time, this person can provide the service we need. That doesn't mean that she would be the only person who could provide that service, that there are other people who can provide that service, and we would certainly look to share, that opportunity. And we will advertise so that we can be sure that anybody who wanted to take advantage or be a participant in this aftercare program could have the opportunity to do so.
Okay. I'll look forward to seeing that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other oh, sure, go ahead.
On all of them, is the November 15th date supposed to be November 13th?
Yes.
She said that, I don't know if you heard
I
her.
did.
You probably didn't hear her.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I did,
November
yes.
13th, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Anybody else under discussion? Okay, good. Okay, roll call, Ray?
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes to all but the second line under P108, if I can do that.
Yep, sure.
Except the second step? Okay. Yeah, we'll have to do it next time.
Well, we'll like put A, B, C, D or something next time, so we can be more specific. Like put A, B, C, D like that, so we know which ones everybody's referring to for the next time.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Ottarelli?
No to all.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay. All right, moving on. We have any correspondence, Ray? Nothing else, right?
No.
No. Okay, anything under old business? Anybody have anything? I'm just going to say under old business because we have, it was presented at our last meeting that the Saddlebrook Education Foundation Tricky Trays January 24th at the Marriott and tickets are $40. I wanted to just let everybody know about that. Anybody else have any other old business?
No, but can we go back?
Sure.
Because I just realized I voted no under every personnel.
But you didn't mean that?
No.
No.
Just P108.
Oh, just P108. She voted no, everything else was
Yes.
yes. Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute.
That's fine. Just P108, okay, you got that? All right, we
Made
got
the
it.
change in the minutes.
She's not letting you go. She's not letting you go.
Just P108, no.
Everything under that number.
Okay, got you. Okay. All right, next time we'll have ABCD also. That's okay. Any other old business? Okay, under new business, servant leadership discussion, December 12th, the first three practices, it's listed here. So we have that. Anybody else have any other?
Through new business, I'd just like to say last Thursday, I had the pleasure of going to the township meeting.
nice.
And I got to see the art exhibit that our students did. And the work that Ms. Pritchett does with these kids is phenomenal. I think if anyone has a chance just to walk through Town Hall to see it, take full advantage of it because it's really something wonderful.
Thank you. Yes, beautiful.
Through the
Anybody
chair,
else? Go ahead.
I would just like to thank the community for the support and re-electing me to the board. I appreciate it very much, and I will continue to work very hard for all of the students in this district and improving their education. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Now, I'd like a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion?
I need a second. That's anything. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? So now the meeting's open to the public, for anything you want to talk about.
Hello.
Hi.
Members of the board, Mrs. Shanley, Mr. Karate, and friends. I just want to say there is a pumpkin on my door that says thankful and blessed. And I truly feel after 42 years of being here, 4 part-time and 38 full-time, how really blessed I am. I have seen so many changes in special education. Prior to coming here, I worked with kids in institutions, both private and public, and the kids that were envisioned were the kids that were housed in institutions. And to see them wheeling around a public school truly made my heart happy. And to see so many Saddlebrook alumni who are part of the teaching staff. One who filled my place in the high school when I got transferred to the middle school. And I pray with all my heart that he is the choice to fill my position again. I love you all. I thank you all. I moved to Saddlebrook and had my daughter go through your public school, and she works here now. Just thank you for everything. And my friends, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else from the public wish to be heard? No?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Rogers, and I have been fortunate enough to be the speech-language pathologist at Smith School for the past 4 years. Before Saddlebrook, I came from a small private school for children with autism. It was a supportive environment, but lacked the sense of community I knew I wanted in my career. When I got offered the job at Saddlebrook, I was beyond excited and hopeful that I was coming into something that would give me the support and sense of community I was looking for. For the past 4 school years, I come to school prepared to help my students succeed, but also ready to take on whatever the day will bring. Some days all the plans go off without a hitch, and some days there are more meltdowns and behaviors than anyone could possibly anticipate. But no matter what, I get up the next day and come prepared for whatever that day will bring as well. As a speech-language pathologist, I am lucky to work with most teachers in my building and build a relationship with many of them. When I started here just 4 years ago, I left it that June thinking, wow, this is the community. This is a community. The kids are great and the teachers love what they do. It's only been 4 years, but every year I have watched amazing educators who are part of that community for myself, for the other teachers, and for the kids leave. Year after year, we seem to be losing that strong community we had and need. I have watched teacher after teacher and administrator after administrator leave for better opportunities, leaving myself and others longing for consistency, support, and community. We show up to school every day because we want to, because we love the children, because we want them to have a bright future, and because we love what we do. But we as educators are also human. We look for support so we can give the kids support. We look for consistency so we can give the kids a feeling of stability, and we look for a sense of community to know we walk into school feeling comfortable. I hope you as the board and the community of Saddlebrook can see and want the same as we do. A community that sticks together and a district that wants their teachers to stay because they are valued and respected. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sue Nasto. My address is 482 Salem Street, Paramus, New Jersey, second grade teacher at Smith School. I'm just speaking on behalf of the Saddlebrook Education Association this evening, and I would just like to share some of the highlights that have been taking place throughout October and November. So first of all, the Saddlebrook Education Association has made keeping our schools safe a priority. We launched an initiative to help pass the ballot referendum for the school security. Our members reside in 37 Saddlebrook households, and we urged our family, our friends, and our neighbors to vote yes to this proposal. Also, the SBEA set up a table at the townwide trunk or treat. It was wonderful being able to interact with members of the community and with the children who participated. In October, our philanthropic fund calculated that we collected approximately $900 for the Susan G. Komen Foundation. And this month, in the month of November, we have collected monetary donations for our veterans, and we plan on donating it to the Saddlebrook VFW. And thank you for approving that extra dress-down day so that we were able to do that. And finally, the Saddlebrook Education Association responded to an appeal to help from the Saddlebrook Food Pantry. And in 1 week, our members collected $450 in grocery store gift cards and over $1,000 in food and household items that were donated to the food pantry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue Laurentino, 160 Alberta Drive, Saddlebrook, New Jersey. I've been a teacher at Helen I. Smith School for 7 years. I also have 4 of my own children who have been a part of the Saddlebrook school system. I feel like I've always been the biggest cheerleader for this district. I know firsthand, as a parent, how awesome the teachers of this district are. I could not wait to be a part of teaching in this community, and I was thankful when I was hired. I absolutely love the students that I have been blessed to teach, as well as my work family. I show up each and every day prepared and excited to be with my students. And when past students come back to visit and reach out to me, I know I have created that special bond. Every June when these students leave me, I am always sad to say goodbye. The relationships formed with students and staff members are very important to me. We become a family, and it saddens me to see highly qualified educators leave for more money, but more importantly, so they can feel valued for the job that they do. I truly hope that this Saddlebrook community can come together to be the best and value the professionals that we have before more qualified, dedicated teachers move on. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to be heard? Good, okay. So, I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Second.
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? Yes, have a happy Thanksgiving next week, enjoy. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, guys, have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you in December.